Yo! Alright, so in that last video, I said I would begin to upload a video every week, but I didn't anticipate that right after that, I would immediately get Bali Belly. Yeah, so I actually finally got food poisoning. It was about time, because I've been here for a while now, and I thought it would happen earlier. I'm gonna see if there's enough footage about this to make a video on it later. But basically, I went to Bandung to meet up with a workaway, the volunteer thing I was talking about. So I went there. I went there to their village. I was getting all settled in. I was dancing with the kids. Hopefully, I can find the video of this and put it on the screen. But yeah, we were preparing for a trip to Bogor, and then that night I went to bed completely normally, and then woke up the next morning, terrible, like sickness, terrible. It was horrible. The next day, I was like, I feel great. Let's go. I'm ready to take this 5-hour bus to Bogor. And I did that. It was the worst decision I've ever made. The whole time in Bogor, I was just sick. I didn't want to look at any food. I didn't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I think that if I stayed in the village and just recovered, then I would have been fine. But yeah, traveling with food poisoning is not a good idea. Just take it from me. Do not do that. My entire schedule, my whole plan, everything just went out the window. But anyway, I want to start at the actual beginning of me coming to Indonesia for the first time, and my trip here, because yeah, I'm like way ahead of you guys. Like I'm right now, I'm sitting in Jakarta. This is almost my third month, and yeah, no videos on actual Indonesia. So yeah, I want to start at the beginning. No spoilers. Before I start, just a heads up, a lot of this was filmed in portrait mode, so sorry in advance about that. So we left off on the way to the airport. My mom got this fantastic footage of me here. After getting the security, my brother and I took this picture to compare our heights later. And this is where things became very real to me, and I recorded this. Oh God. Well, it's too late now. But before we get too far, let's take a look at my itinerary. Total estimated trip time, 51 hours. My first flight is Orlando to London Gatwick. And then here I have this thing called a self-transfer. So basically, I'm going to fly into one airport in London, but I'm flying out of London via a different airport. And I have plenty of time to do that because it's 20 hours layover. My second flight is London Luton to Athens, Greece. My third flight is Greece to Singapore. And my fourth and final flight is Singapore to Jakarta. While waiting for my very first flight, I left my Sony XM4 earbuds in the waiting area. Pour one out. In the middle of the flight, the couple next to me started coughing, flagged down a flight attendant, and she told them, oh, I think I have a fever. And then they both got up and went elsewhere. I was not trying to get any sicker on this flight. There's not much to see in this flight, so I'm skipping to the end. Plus, I want to forget this flight ever happened. When in London. After getting through customs, I got on the train to London Central. After riding the Gatwick Express train, I ended up at Victoria Station. It was time to transfer to the London Underground subway system. transferred over to London Bridge Station and then headed outside to start walking towards the food. I realized it would be much quicker to just stop by London Bridge first before getting to the food plaza, so here it is. It is a bridge. It's the London Bridge. After admiring the local pigeons, I set off again to finally get some food. Borough Market. This place was huge. It was a great place for a lot of different options. I got a kebab, and after finishing my food, it was time to do some more sightseeing. So I headed back out to London Bridge Station. And after walking around quite a bit, I eventually ended up at Waterloo Station, right around the corner from Big Ben. Yeah, it's Krispy Kreme. I love that the signs don't say exit, but instead they just plainly state way out. I got some water and then some products I've never seen before, and I headed out in the direction of Big Ben.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I actually just watched this like drive by on the left-hand side. Dude, it actually made me giggle. Like, why the fuck are they driving on the wrong side, bro? That just cracked me up. I don't know why. It just cracked me up.
Then I found this really sick graffiti tunnel. And I wanted to go down into it, but I wasn't really sure if it led out to where I was trying to go. As I got closer to Big Ben, I started to see some landmarks such as the London Eye. And finally, I got my first glimpse at Big Ben. The whole time I was editing this, I was cracking up at this guy's Subway branded umbrella. Sick umbrella, bro. The area around Big Ben is actually very nice, albeit really touristy. The eye is visible from the bridge here, and there's a lot of boats passing by underneath you. I snapped some pictures, and before I left, I noticed this. I wish I had the time for whatever that is. After getting to the other side, my destination was now Buckingham Palace, which is a relatively short walk from where I was already. Then walked a bit further before I was really feeling the weight of this backpack on my shoulders.
Yo, so I'm sitting near a park, taking a rest, drinking a lot of water. I'm lugging around like 20 something pounds on my shoulders. It's not fun. Luckily I found this little place to go, sit down, surrounded by bushes and a gate, so I don't have to worry about getting robbed. Yeah, it's kind of rough. I'm on my way to Buckingham Palace, and then I'm gonna find a pub to sit down at for a while. Oh, there's a squirrel. You go. I had to rest because I have everything in this one backpack, and when I weighed it, it was like 23 pounds or something like that. So, yeah, kind of rough. But London is cool. I don't have much time in London before I have to go to the next airport and then fly to Greece. Because I left my fucking headphones in the Orlando airport, I might go headphone shopping because I just raw dogged that 8-hour flight where I had nothing to do. I had nothing installed on my phone that I could do offline. There was no Wi-Fi in the plane. I had no headphones. All I had was this eye mask. I just tried to sleep the whole time. That didn't work out too well. The whole 8 hours was pretty rough, but I got through it. It's just that I have to do an 11-hour flight pretty soon. And that's not even my last flight. Also, I'm drinking this thing Lucozade. It says that it contains caffeine, but it doesn't say how much caffeine, which is crazy. Is the UK not required to say how much caffeine is in their energy drinks? Like, that's crazy. I don't see it on here. Also, so far, London is very similar to New York. There's a lot of tourists, and also they have a lot of pigeons too. And there's a helicopter just hovering. He's just chilling up there. Alright, I gotta get back out there. It is 2:30. Oh my god, this thing is so heavy. But this is the worst of it. The rest of the journey is gonna be small layovers and just flights. But I'll figure it out.
I pushed on, finally getting to my destination, Buckingham Palace. Of course, there were a lot of people here. I watched the guards walk around for a bit. And finally found the location of that helicopter from before. Hey, there's an actual telephone box. I headed back to Victoria Station and found a pub to rest at for a while. Shout out to Witherspoon for having my favorite beer, Carlsberg. After buying some new headphones at W.H. Smith, it was getting late, so I hopped on a Platform 7 train, started heading towards the airport. And then I realized I was going the wrong direction. So I got off at the next stop, admired the local market, which is kind of cool, waited for the next train going back to Victoria Station, and I found the real platform I was trying to get to, which is also called Platform 7. This is not confusing at all. St. Pancras is a pretty cool station. I thought maybe this was the same one used in Paddington, but no, that's Paddington Station. Finally, I got on the train that was actually on my way to the airport to get some sleep. The train took me to the middle of nowhere, where then I had to take another transfer train to actually get to the airport itself. Luton Airport was completely dead by the time I arrived, so I decided to just get some snacks and started to sleep on the floor. I realized later that since I was already checked in, I could have just gone through security right then and slept in a much better, more comfortable place than this, but oh well. In the morning, I got up, got through security, got some breakfast, and was soon boarding my flight to Athens, Greece. This time I came prepared with headphones and some offline phone games. This flight was much better than the last, and the views flying into Greece were amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Athens Airport. Well, the local time is 11:15 in the morning and we landed 45 minutes ahead of the schedule.
In Greece, I made my way through customs. I finally got my first passport stamp and headed outside to see the beautiful surrounding area. It was here that I was informed that my flight to Singapore was delayed, so I was going to have to wait a little while. I found some pizza, some local beer, and enjoyed the view of the airport. After getting through security, I looked around for a place to charge my devices.
There's like no chargers anywhere except for this one.
Then I saw my first indoor smoking lounge. Before long, it was time to board. And this is where I would prepare for the longest flight of my entire trip.